A CIA agent named Vivi meets with the CIA director and another man at CIA headquarters to discuss their target, a dangerous figure known as Wolfgang Braun, also known as the Wolf. Both the Wolf and his associate, known as the Albino, are involved in arms trafficking to terrorists, and Vivi is assigned the responsibility of taking them down. Vivi looks into the agent already working in the field and finds out that the agent is someone named Ethan. Next, we meet Ethan at a hotel in Paris, France, where he works with another spy named Yasmin. They target the Albino, who is about to make a deal with Serbian buyers, and their goal is to capture him. Ethan not only manages to eliminate the buyers, but he also quickly gets the Albino's briefcase, which contains an important secret password. As Ethan prepares to hand the cases over to another agent waiting inside a van, his phone rings, reminding him that today is his daughter Zoe's birthday. Since he is not allowed to answer with his cell phone, he rushes to a public phone and trades his watch with a nearby vendor to get coins. When Ethan calls Zoe, he cannot reach her because he fails to connect her voicemail. Meanwhile, at the hotel, the Albino recognizes Yasmin and realizes that her true identity has been exposed. He forces her into an elevator with the intention of harming her, then waits for the elevator to go down, and finally, Yasmin dies after her head is severed. A chaotic shootout spreads from the hotel lobby to the streets as the Albino's men open fire on the agents in the vehicle. Ethan chases the Albino amid the chaos and takes down his henchmen while running. However, Ethan starts to lose his strength gradually, feeling weaker and more disoriented. Despite the struggle, he manages to overtake the Albino and shoot his leg. While the Albino limps away, Ethan's consciousness fades, and finally, he passes out. Ethan finds himself in a hospital after regaining consciousness, where a doctor delivers terrible news. After receiving a diagnosis of cancer that has spread to his lungs, the doctor warns that he only has about 3 to 5 months left to live. Traumatized by the news, Ethan leaves the hospital and returns to his apartment, only to find that a refugee family has settled there. Jules, the father of the family, welcomes Ethan warmly, explains their situation, and warns him that forcing them to leave could cause legal complications. Angry, Ethan initially considers using force, but he eventually gives in and allows the family to stay until Jules' eldest daughter gives birth. Ethan reaches out to his ex-wife, Tina, after realizing the serious problem he faces. At first, Tina is reluctant to meet him while she is out with her friends. However, she agrees to meet Ethan when he insists that it is very important. When they gather to sign Ethan's will, he tells Tina about his worsening illness. Tina is not surprised by the revelation. She emphasizes her intention to do everything possible to protect their daughter Zoe from learning about his approaching death. Tina gives Ethan a condition to see Zoe again. He must quit his dangerous profession to do so. Ethan does not oppose the condition. In an effort to reunite with their daughter, Ethan and Tina go to Zoe's school together. Zoe seems uninterested in interacting with her father due to the awkwardness of their reunion. A charming but quiet older student named Hugh approaches Zoe, and she introduces him to Ethan. After Hugh leaves, Ethan gives Zoe a purple bicycle because he believes purple is still her favorite color. However, Zoe decides to take the train with her friends, leaving Ethan to ride the bicycle alone. Ethan meets Vivi while riding his bike and stops at a bus stop. Vivi mentions Zoe's name and then shows him the watch he forgot at the hotel. She is very persuasive, convincing him to ride with her, and then she reveals that she has an experimental drug that could save his life. Although reluctant at first, Ethan changes his mind after learning about the drug's existence. Vivi explains that the mission she offers is to find and eliminate the wolf. She expects to locate someone who can provide information about the Albino's accountant. So, she sends Ethan to a nearby hotel, hoping to find him. After Vivi assures Ethan that only one person is inside the room, they break in and find 5 people instead. After failing to gather any useful information or cooperation, Ethan and Vivi feel compelled to eliminate them all. During the elevator ride, Ethan states his terms for continuing the mission. Specifically, he demands $50,000 and an additional life insurance policy worth $1 million. Vivi gives Ethan 1 dose of the experimental drug after agreeing to meet his terms. Meanwhile, the Albino meets with someone and gives him Ethan's photo to keep. Ethan goes to the apartment where he stays with Zoe and Tina, and when he is there, he hears Zoe screaming. After rushing in, he finds that Zoe is upset because of a haircut she doesn't like. He worries that Zoe might be in danger. Tina becomes furious with Ethan for breaking his promise to prepare dinner and for arriving 3 hours late. As she prepares to leave for a business trip abroad the next day, she plans to hire a babysitter for Zoe before she goes. However, Ethan insists on taking care of Zoe himself. While resting, Ethan begins to feel dizzy and nearly faints. To inform Vivi about his hallucinations, he contacts her. To ease his symptoms, Vivi advises Ethan to drink vodka, and he follows her suggestion. The next day, Tina leaves for work, and Zoe enters the room wearing a pink wig. When Zoe finds out that Vivi is calling Ethan's phone, he reveals that she is his boss. Specifically, Zoe sets a special ringtone on Ethan's phone, a youth song, so that it plays every time she calls. Once again, Ethan tries to convince Zoe to ride her bicycle to school, but Zoe insists on walking instead and finally removes her wig while walking. After capturing the Wolf's driver named Mitad, Ethan goes to a store to buy food, but a man holding a shotgun suddenly approaches him. The man shoots at him, but it turns out Ethan is already wearing a bulletproof vest to protect himself. Although the man manages to stab Ethan's neck, the fierce fight between them eventually ends with the man getting shot, and finally, he dies. Ethan realizes that the man has a photo of him. When he returns home, Ethan finds a message from one of Zoe's friends on her computer. The message says that they will meet at a tattoo gallery tomorrow. Feeling worried, Ethan rushes to the location, where he finds Zoe's bag hidden behind a vehicle. After breaking into the car, he finds a flyer for a party event called Spider. Ethan visits Mitad's house to get information and asks Mitad's twin sons about Spider. They tell him that Spider is a nightclub, which becomes useful information for him. Out of curiosity, Ethan goes to Spider. He sees Zoe drinking with her friends inside the building. However, he starts to feel dizzy again, which makes him try to ease his symptoms by drinking a glass of vodka. After witnessing 3 men harassing Zoe near the restroom, Ethan tries to step in, but one of them stops him. Determined to save his daughter, Ethan uses his protective instincts and defeats the attackers, rescuing Zoe from trouble. The next morning, Zoe wakes up with no memory of what happened the previous night. Still wearing her party clothes, Zoe says she wants to go to school, but Ethan refuses. Ethan insists that Zoe must learn how to ride a bicycle, and he dedicates the morning to training her, a move that earns praise from the people nearby. Even though Zoe disagrees, Ethan remains firm in his demand. As they spend time together, Zoe expresses her worry that Ethan might be living with another family and a different daughter. With tears in her eyes, she asks Ethan why he's been gone for so long. Trying to comfort her, Ethan assures her that it is not her fault and does his best to cheer her up. As their conversation continues, Zoe reveals that she once hit a girl at school because the girl hit Hugh first. Hugh, who is about to pick Zoe up for school, accidentally runs into them. After getting useful information from Mitad, Ethan searches for Guido, who is the accountant, and drives around the streets until he tracks him down. Using a tear gas grenade, Ethan incapacitates the guards and captures Guido. The next step is to destroy the vehicle they used. Ethan plans to send the detonation codes that belong to the Wolf and the albino when he returns to his apartment. He intends to do this by exchanging the briefcases that contain the stolen codes. At that moment, Zoe calls Ethan to tell him that she plans to cook vegetarian food for Hugh. Ethan allows Guido to talk to Zoe through the phone, where Guido shares his mother's traditional spaghetti sauce recipe. When Ethan comes home that day, he finds that Jules's pregnant daughter is in labor. As a token of gratitude for Ethan's kindness in letting them stay in his home, she gives birth to a healthy baby girl and chooses to name her after him. However, Ethan insists that they are free to stay as long as they need, even though Jules repeatedly expresses his intention to move out. During their talk, Jules says that his family prefers to live in a smaller house to be closer together. Later, Ethan visits Zoe's house and finds out that Hugh has invited her to a dance party. But Zoe admits that she cannot dance well. After deciding to help her, Ethan takes charge of teaching her. While they're practicing, Tina visits their house and watches them dance, filled with emotion. The next event is a family dinner shared by Ethan, Tina, and Zoe, a moment they cherish together. After dinner, Tina suggests that Ethan should tell Zoe about his health condition. As their relationship grows closer again, Ethan and Tina end up spending the night together, even though their past relationship has been far from perfect. The next morning, Vivi contacts Ethan to inform him that the albino is now at a hotel. In no time, Ethan arrives there and manages to identify the Wolf. A vehicle is entered by the criminals along with Mitad, who is driving. Determined to catch them, Ethan chases and crashes into their car with enough force to make it slide off the overpass. Ethan decides to spare Mitad so he can reunite with his family, but the wolf and the albino manage to escape capture. As Ethan continues his pursuit of the criminals, he follows them into a subway station. However, his health worsens as he suffers a nosebleed, nausea, and vomiting. When Ethan is about to shoot the wolf, the albino grabs him and pulls him toward the train tracks. Even though he is in a weakened state, Ethan gathers enough strength to push the albino into the path of an oncoming train, causing him to fall onto the tracks, and finally, he dies. Exhausted, Ethan loses consciousness for a moment, allowing the wolf to escape. When he opens his eyes, he finds himself in Vivi's presence. Vivi updates him about the wolf's escape, but also gives him good news about the effectiveness of his experimental treatment at the same time. Following the previous events, Ethan, Zoe, and Tina meet Hugh and his family. It turns out that Hugh's father introduces Ethan to the wolf, as his father is the wolf's business partner. As they awkwardly greet each other and shake hands, the tension is obvious. Tina begins to suspect that Ethan is involved in another mission when they are escorted to a club, and she accuses him of lying to her about his work. However, Ethan assures Tina that he is not lying. The wolf's henchmen confront Ethan amid the chaos, shooting at him and forcing him to fight back. Before trapping the wolf inside an elevator, Ethan eliminates everyone one by one. He fires a calculated shot at the elevator cable, causing the lift to fall and crash to the ground. Meanwhile, Hugh and Zoe get a moment alone in a private room. Their new relationship leads them to dance and share a sweet moment for the first time. The wolf manages to escape from the fallen elevator, but Ethan finds him. However, Ethan's strength fades once again, leaving him unable to pull the trigger. As he drops his gun, the wolf tries to grab it. Just when the wolf seems ready to strike, Vivi arrives at the scene and urges Ethan to finish the job by pointing the gun closer. But with thoughts of Tina and Zoe in his mind, Ethan struggles to fire. Unexpectedly, Vivi takes the chance, grabs the gun, and takes full control of the situation by acting on her own. She's the one who finally fires the shot, and finally, the wolf dies. In the end, we see Ethan and Zoe living together in a house by the sea. Right now, he is setting up a tree for the holiday, even though earlier he was sure that he would not survive to feel the celebration. He admits to Tina in an honest conversation that they have gone through difficult days, but they remain determined to make their relationship work. Moments later, Tina arrives, and Ethan admits that he has not always supported her and Zoe. When Zoe comes, he invites his mother to come inside so Tina can prepare hot chocolate for all of them. As Tina and Zoe sit together, Ethan goes to another room. Meanwhile, Ethan finds a package in a separate room that contains a large syringe and a message from Vivi wishing him happy holidays. It is now very clear that Vivi is the one who gave him the medicine that allows him to keep spending precious time with his family. The movie 3 Days to Kill ends with Ethan reunited with his family. And finally, Vivi watches from a distance as a silent witness. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notification so you don't miss the latest recaps.